Black Myth Wukong isn't the only developer, content creator, art enjoyer that lost this past week. I also lost my own personal battle, I must admit. First, it was the Streamer Awards, put together by my podcast co-host and personal best friend, Cutie Cinderella. I lost Just Chatting, Streamer of the Year, to Kai Cenat. And that's all right. I was sad. I was devastated. I was positively perturbed. But I knew that there was another award show out there. There was another award that perhaps I thought I could win. That award was by StopAntisemitism.org. And you know it's a valid institution and not run by like one schizophrenic Long Island lady, because it has .org in the end of it. It's an organization. I worked long and hard over the course of this past year to win Anti-Semite of the Year. I was up against some incredible contenders, like people who deny the Holocaust and stuff, you know, like actual anti-Semites. What have I done in that time frame? Of course, fought against anti-Semitism while simultaneously speaking truthfully about the ways in which Israel was conducting a genocide. And of course, that is the biggest no-no of all. And this past week, StopAntisemitism.org revealed that there were three finalist contenders. I was one of them. Candace Owens was another. And the last was Greta Thunberg. And I thought to myself, I can win this. Too big to rig, I thought. But it turns out, in spite of my best attempts, I lost. That's right. 2024 Anti-Semite of the Year is Candace Owens. I thought 2024 would be a big year for Stop Antisemitism, where they would finally break the trend of choosing a person of color. Year over year, StopAntisemitism.org has chosen people who aren't exactly anti-Semitic at all, but simply anti-Israel. Women of color from all different backgrounds, most of them not white, most of them women. The first time that StopAntisemitism.org actually chose a real anti-Semite was last year. Still a black man nonetheless, but an actual anti-Semite. So I thought maybe things will change. Maybe they will actually also go for a white man. Turns out I was wrong. Turns out we could not buck the trend. And Candace Owens won. So I say, stop the steal. We will win it next year. Yes, I'm not wrong. They have literally never chosen a person that is not a person of color. In 2019, they chose Anti-Semite of the Year Ilhan Omar, who, as you guys know, is not an anti-Semite, but anti-Israel. In 2020, they chose Nurdin Kaswani, who, once again, not an anti-Semite, simply pro-Palestinian. In 2021, we got very close, very, very close to choosing an Anti-Semite of the Year that was a white man, Ben or Jerry. But instead, StopAntisemitism.org put the crosshairs not on these two white Jewish men who were responsible for their boycott on the West Bank, the occupation, and instead chose a brown woman that is on the board of Ben and Jerry's. That's right. They literally were like, we can't choose Ben and Jerry because they're both Jewish and it would probably look bad. So let's just go with the brown woman on the chair of the board of directors of Ben and Jerry. Also not an anti-Semite, simply anti-Israel. And in 2022, that was the first year where they chose an anti-Semitic man, Kanye West. Still a black man, still a person of color. So they stayed true to that vision. But 2022 was a big year for them because it was the first year where they actually chose someone who was saying a whole bunch of anti-Semitic shit. Make no mistake, Kanye West, mentally ill, but also definitely anti-Semitic. But things did not change, and they went back to their old vision. In 2023, they chose friend of the show, Rashida Tlaib, as anti-Semite of the year. Rashida Tlaib is not an anti-Semite. She actively fights back against anti-Semitism, but she also happens to be a Palestinian woman who also happens to be, understandably, anti-Israel. So when I got up to the top three, destroying the likes of Bassem Youssef, Dan Bilzerian, Jake Shields, and many others, when I saw my name up there with Greta Thunberg and Candace Owens, I thought to myself, I have a real shot at winning this goddamn thing, okay? But unfortunately, Candace Owens did win. So this is the second year where they have accidentally arrived at someone who is actually anti-Semitic. But make no mistake, we will win this one of these days.
If Hitler just...
Wait, they said the political commentator unmasked their dormant anti-Semitic beliefs in 2024, leading to an easy victory. Unmasked her dormant anti-Semitic beliefs. She got hired by the Daily Wire after she said Hitler just wanted to make Germany great. It was never dormant. Everybody knew what was up. Everybody knew that she was an out and about anti-Semite. She actually played a role in the radicalization of this man right here in 2022. It was never dormant. The only thing she did on top of her anti-Semitism that was rampant, okay, was that she actively was anti-Israel. That was the no-no, okay? It wasn't just that she was anti-Semitic. Nobody had an issue with how anti-Semitic she was. The Daily Wire certainly did not have an issue with how anti-Semitic she was.
If Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine.
Yeah, Owens started raising eyebrows in 2019 when she seemingly defended Hitler's actions in Germany, citing nationalism. Raising eyebrows, that's the maximum amount of anti-Semitism you can do. Like, I can't comprehend how insane you have to be like, ooh, she started raising eyebrows when she defended Hitler. It's like, no, that's it. That is the maximum amount of anti-Semitism. You've maxed out. You have maxed out on anti-Semitism. There is no cap beyond that, okay? Hitler is the historically the number one anti-Semite, okay? That's it. And when you defend him, you are defending the number one anti-Semite. You have maxed out on your anti-Semitism. It's not an eyebrow-raising moment unless you are waiting for the more nefarious, secret suspicion that she might be, trigger warning, chat, I'm sorry I'm about to say this, she might be anti-Israel, which is truly terrifying. How does she not raise the eyebrows of Ben Shabibo? You want to know why? Because Ben Shapiro doesn't give a fuck about anti-Semitism. As long as someone is pro-Israel, Ben Shapiro does not care. And that is not a suspicion of mine. I'm not speculating. He has literally tweeted it out before when defending Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter had said some, heinous shit about Jews, okay? Famously. And Ben Shapiro tweeted out the words, I don't care about Ann Coulter's anti-Semitism because she's pro-Israel. This is a tweet that's still out there, by the way. This is not like hidden. Ann Coulter's tweets regarding Jews, awful, nonsensical. At Ann Coulter is also super pro-Israel and always has been. So I won't lose sleep. Make no mistake. Ben Shapiro has never given a single fuck about like anti-Semitism unless he can use it as a weapon to wield against those who criticize the state of Israel. Okay? There it is. Tweet's still up.
Problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany.
They experimented on twins. I mean, some of the stories, by the way, sound completely absurd. I mean, like the idea that they just like cut a human up and then sewed them back together. That just sounds like bizarre propaganda.
A fierce defender of Kanye West, Owens dismissed the notion that West's 2022 tweets threatening the Jewish community were anti-Semitic. Dude, she is literally responsible. Like, Kanye West is a whole ass adult, and he's, cultivated a group of sycophants around him and whatnot. And he definitely was mentally at his weakest point when someone like Candace Owens came in. But like, she is the most responsible figure for his radicalization. That's like not even I've been in this game for a very long time. Okay. I know how all of this happened because I was there. I was covering it actively.
If you are an honest person, you did not think this tweet was anti-Semitic. You did not think that he wrote this tweet because he hates or wants to genocide Jewish people. It's like you cannot even say.
Come on, man. He says he's going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people. That's a crazy thing to say. Again, it's almost as maximum anti-Semitism as defending Adolf Hitler, which is something both Candace Owens and Kanye West has done. Ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. Are you shadow banned on Instagram? I just created a new account to move from TikTok before a ban and I can't find it any other way via a direct link. Yes, I am. When you type my name, if you don't type my full name, you will literally find Hasanabi fan accounts on Instagram before you arrive at my account. I've been shadow banned on Instagram for years. And it's not because I show too much meat, chatters. It's because I'm you know why I'm shadow banned on fucking Instagram. Come on.
The word Jewish.
The reason why I'm shadow banned on Instagram is the same reason why I'm on Stop Anti-Semitism's like award finalist for Anti-Semite of the Year. It's because I'm anti-Israel. Okay, that's it.
Without people getting upset.
Every person who speaks about Israel has to basically say a statement that's like, I don't want to get killed. We don't have that about any other country in the world except for the one that, took over ours. And that's the truth, okay? We are an occupied nation.
Just like within all communities, there are gangs, right?
It's so crazy because there are so many more overtly anti-Semitic things that Candace Owens has said throughout her entire career that you could point to. And then you still have to tie it back to like shit that she's saying, even if she's saying it in an anti-Semitic fashion, to criticisms of Israel. This is what is known as an own goal. Okay? You're dunking on yourself because the reality of the matter is, I know she's anti-Semitic. Okay? I know she's anti-Semitic. I'm pretty fucking tuned into what anti-Semitic dog whistles look like. And also Candace Owens has gone way past the point of dog whistles in general. But when you say she's anti-Semitic because she's anti-Israel, you literally end up offering validity to anti-Semitism. Most people look at the situation and go, this is crazy. What the fuck is going on? Why can't we say shit about Israel? There are plenty of opportunities where you could turn around and point to Candace Owens being overtly anti-Semitic on its own, like saying that Mengele's experiments were fake or something. Like, that's it. That's super anti-Semitic. Saying that Adolf Hitler just wanted to make Germany great. That's anti-Semitic as fuck. Okay? But you still chose to point to like shit that she was saying about Israel. It hurts your cause, is what I'm saying.
Conform, we understand this. What if that is what is happening right now in Hollywood? If there is just a very small ring of specific people who are using the fact that they are Jewish to shield themselves from any criticism?
Mazel tov, Candace. Yeah. What would your montage video have looked like if you won? Come on, dude. It's the one that like Diddy G was sending all over to every fucking news outlet that would listen. The one that Fox News digital team bid on and actually posted. It would be that 100%. Anyway, seems to me like Stop Anti-Semitism was so horny to give this award to another person of color that I was robbed, and someone who's actually anti-Semitic and anti-Israel won on accident. It's not fun looking at you play a video. What? I think a lot of people would disagree with you. Don't admit it, even if you're joking, bro. Don't admit what? You losing proves that Diddy G has no motion. I know. Do you see the Dan Bilzerian on Raw Talk with Bradley Martin? He was spitting some hard facts. The USA is occupied. What? Did you see the USS Liberty Vet thing? Yeah, Don Goku TV. I'm going to stop you real quick. Okay? Name one white anti-Semitic on YouTube that is trending or well known. I haven't seen any except Candace Owens. What? Are you insane? Dan Bilzerian is another fucking prominent leader in the anti-Semitic movement. But also, it's not even, it's not, like there are so many anti-Semitic people who are fucking pro-Israel. What are you talking about? Hella white people. One of the most famous televangelists in the country that literally speaks at pro-Israel rallies. His name is Pastor John Hagee. Okay, you were called out on TikTok. What? No, I'm not going to look at that. Thought I got married on Friday 9 months early so we can get my wife health insurance. You're even scared about the Republicans repealing the ACA. Doesn't this tweet make it look like you're upset about Candace winning the award? It feels like you are defending her. No, I am upset about Candace winning the award. I should have won it. It was mine to win. You know? With the exception of Kanye West, I would have been up there with some goats. You know what I mean? They had a pretty solid run. They had a pretty solid run of just like simply posting people that are not anti-Semitic, but simply anti-Israel. You know, I'd be up there with the goats. I wrote my acceptance speech 2 years ago. But there's always next season, you know? This segment is a Clip Chimp goldmine. Yeah, I don't give a shit. The Dan Bilzerian thing. Dude, you put that joke out there and the ADL will have a field day calling you anti-Semitic 1,000 times worse than currently. Chatter, I'm going to keep it a $1.50 with you. I'm going to be very honest with you. No one cares. Okay? It doesn't. No one cares. This is not. I think you're mistaken when you think that this has any sort of real motion, especially considering that the past year has been a lot of these institutions on high alert trying to fucking get me clapped off this platform. Brad's exact response, Dan denying the Holocaust was, yeah, I don't believe in anything the government says after COVID. Got to talk some sense into him. I saw one clip. The other chatter who was talking about like Dan Bilzerian is spitting truths. He's not. Okay. Anyone and everyone. Speaking of like combating actual anti-Semitism, I'll briefly broach the subject matter. Anyone and everyone that thinks that like Israel's existence is related to some like ancient Judaism, that Jews are monolithic in their approach to Israel, is wrong. In the simplest terms, they're just wrong. Okay? That's it. And I think it's gross that while there's an active genocide going on, especially of the Palestinian population, anti-Semitic people who are pro-Zionist and anti-Semitic people who are anti-Zionist do this handshake where they both say the exact same thing on different sides of the spectrum. Where on the one hand, you have pro-Israel anti-Semites who are like, no, you don't understand, all Jews love Israel. It's like the most Jewish thing you can do. On the other hand, you have anti-Semites who are like, That's right. All Jews love Israel. It's the most Jewish thing you can do. Everything that Israel's doing is for Judaism. It's gross. But on the simplest terms, it's just incorrect. Okay? That's it. It's not a very complicated thing. The problem is with the likes of Dan Bilzerian getting more play, especially like, you know, going on Bradley Martin and whatnot. Okay. And preaching. Why is it incorrect? Why is what incorrect? The fact that it's all Jews love Israel and care about Israel, or what Israel is doing is representative of Judaism as a whole? No group of individuals operate with one mind. We're human beings, chatter. Are you Christian? If you are, do you agree with all other Christians? Do you think that like America invaded Iraq because of oil, or because they wanted to, you know, because they wanted to do Christianity related shit? Do you believe that your fellow American Christians also agree with the Iraq war and thought it was awesome? And also personally, every single American Christian also personally was like, yeah, we're doing this for Christianity. The reason why I'm asking you this is because a lot of people can understand their own background as unique. Sometimes they can't understand those that come from a different background. They can't comprehend that there is no monolithic understanding. Okay? Israel's existence is based on religion? No, it's not. Religion is simply a tool. And religion was simply a tool used by secular Zionists that wanted to bring other people to the cause. If anything, the religious existence was more so for the Christians than the Jews themselves. This is precisely the reason why there are plenty of Jews, Orthodox Jews, like the Neturei Karta, that actually look to the Torah and say there is no theological justification for Israel's existence yet. Okay? Israel's existence is not on the virtue of any sort of religious predisposition. Theodore Herzl, the godfather of Israel, is an atheist himself. It's for colonial conquest. That's it. It's land grabs. It's domination. It's control. Virtually every single country in the region, virtually every single country in that region, Syria, Jordan, Lebanon, Palestine, in the aftermath of the fall of the Ottoman Empire, all of that land that was controlled by the Ottoman Empire was partitioned deliberately by Western superpowers, whether it be the French colonialists or the English colonialists, that wanted to partition and create these nation states with one goal in mind: domination. They ensured that they cut across different borders and boundaries so that there were plenty of ethnic strife that existed, and they put their guys in positions of power. And in Palestine, they use that as a dumping ground for their settler colonial operation. That's it. And those issues still remain to this day. Okay? For Syria, it was the Alawites. For Jordan, it was directly a British monarch, a British-backed monarch that controls Jordan. It is not an accident that many of these countries were controlled by oftentimes Western-backed ethnic minorities. Some of them still do. The goal was to have permanent destabilization, which makes it easier to control. Okay? Permanent destabilization, which makes these countries easier to control. And also, that way you can pick apart their natural resources with ease. As long as there is consistent ethnic and religious strife, then imperialism can continue. Then colonialism can continue. Okay? That's it. But yeah, where is that the one Dan Bilzerian snippet that went viral on Twitter? I just want to look at that one specifically because he brings up the Holocaust and starts questioning the Holocaust numbers or whatever. And that's like, that's it. That's the maximalist position. You're like, I think he starts off talking about like, you know, the reason why Dan Bilzerian is nefarious is because like, one, he already has a lot of like right-wing fans in general from being Dan fucking Bilzerian, you know, kind of an asshole, but like this rich guy, right? Poker hero, whatever. And he's already a dickhead. But then recently he popped off because every now and again he would make these statements about Israel and Palestine, right? And the statements, if they were, if his statements were kept to like a 30-second snippet, sometimes it made sense. Because you can be an anti-Semite and still be capable of making a valid critique about Israel's actions. But the next 30 seconds usually was the most important part because he would immediately talk about why he believed Israel was doing this, and he would turn it back to Judaism, and not only the Torah but the Talmud. This is a ancient Talmudic understanding of what how the Jews are. Okay, it is akin to saying every Christian is like the Westboro Baptist Church. It is akin to saying every Muslim is ISIS. When you point to, and sometimes Nazis love doing this, when you point to like random fucking, Kahanis or whatever, and be like, this is what every Jew thinks. This is how every Jew operates. It's just pure anti-Semitism. Okay?
Why are they so protected? And it's like, okay, the Holocaust, that's what everybody points to. That's why they're so protected. And then you start looking at the numbers of the Holocaust, and it's bullshit. It's bullshit. And they revise the figures. It's not like some crazy conspiracy.
This is one of the craziest things that people do because it's like the most studied atrocity. Like straight up. Like it's not a secret, man. I mean, you're relying on people's lack of knowledge and inherent distrust of institutions to make this fucking argument, to say that like this insanely well documented atrocity at this point in 2024 is actually real suspicious, real sneaky. I don't really understand what's going on. It's like there's plenty you don't fucking understand. Okay?
Conspiracy. They said 4 million people died in Auschwitz, and then they literally revised it and said it was more like 1.1 to 1.5 million. Well, it's like, how can you be that far off? That's like less than half of what you said. It's a quarter of what you said, or like a third.
I think he's just talking about Auschwitz, but no, I think the final number is 6 million Jews specifically. It's much larger than that overall. But if you're talking about how many Jews were slaughtered in the Holocaust, it's 6 million, not 4. And what's really interesting about this is that Dan Bilzerian is saying this, and he's a pretty prominent Armenian man. So as a prominent Armenian American, I think he probably knows very well when people deny genocides. You know? That's what makes it crazy to me, is that what he's doing right now for the Holocaust is exactly what you learn in school in Turkey about the Armenian genocide, that it's like not real.
What you said, and then you start looking at like just the math on this stuff. Like the math doesn't math. Like you cannot cremate that many bodies. You'd be cremating those bodies for hundreds of years. Not to mention like gas chambers are not like an effective, efficient way to kill people. And these are the Germans. These are the guys
He didn't deny it. What do you mean? Yes, dude. It's called Holocaust revisionism. It's a subtle denial. It's a way to brush the subject matter with plausible deniability. Are we really doing this? This is like literally combating anti-Semitism 101. Like, hello? Yeah. It's not even subtle, for the record. I don't think it's subtle, but maybe for people who are just like completely, he said it's over exaggerated. Yes, it's called Holocaust revisionism. There's an entire fucking field of study dedicated to this as well.
Guys that have the best tanks, the best fighter jets, the best technology of anybody in the world. And they're going to put a wooden door in a gas chamber. They're going to, just think about the logistics of it. If you just want to kill, whatever, say 5-6 million people, you're not going to march 100 of them into a shower at a time, gas them, wait for the gas to release, then put all those people in wheelbarrows, wheel them out, dig them out. Like, think about the time it would take. Like,
so do you think that none of it happened?
I think that they were not death camps. And when and the Red Cross went in there and they
he's literally pointing to like very famous instances of propaganda. Like, this is something that the Red Cross, it was originally the Nazi Red Cross that went in and were like, oh, these are just like regular camps. Like, these are internment camps. We need to keep them. We need to keep some of these people locked away. These are criminals. Then the International Red Cross went in to a Theresienstadt ghetto, and the Red Cross, this is something we talked about yesterday, ironically enough. It was considered a model ghetto for deceiving the International Committee of Red Cross representatives about the ongoing Holocaust and the Nazi plan to murder all Jews. The Nazified German Red Cross visited a ghetto in 1943 and filed the only accurate report on the ghetto, describing overcrowding and undernourishment. Okay? In 1944, the ghetto was beautified in preparation for a delegation from the International Committee of Red Cross and the Danish government. The delegation visited on the 23rd of June. ICRC delegate Maurice Rosell wrote a favorable report on the ghetto and claimed that no one was deported from Theresienstadt. On April 1945, another ICRC delegation was allowed to visit the ghetto despite the contemporaneous liberation of other concentration camps and continued to repeat Rossell's erroneous findings. The SS turned over the ghetto to the ICRC on the 2nd of May, several days before the end of the war. Not only did these guys actually actively fucking document the overwhelming majority of the people that they slaughtered. Why the fuck should they have even documented it? They don't give a shit. They're just mass killing. Do you understand? It's the same as looking at. It's no different than looking at the accurate assessment from the Palestinian Health Ministry of all of the people that have been meticulously logged as killed by Israeli rockets or Israeli gunfire specifically. That's where that like 40 to 50,000 number comes from. There are hundreds of thousands totaling in deaths that have been caused by the ongoing siege. And yet this is all meticulously calculated. Okay? You have to understand, Israel denies that shit, where they go, nah, they're all terrorists, or those numbers are wrong. They do the same exact atrocity denial and propaganda that many do, like Dan Bilzerian is doing right here against the Holocaust. Şu kapıyı kapatır mısın? 3'te. Saul. And you have to remember, they're mass slaughtering all Jews. It is wild that they took this many meticulous data points to begin with. Like, it's already unique that they were already calculating, like, and had direct names and identification papers for like millions of Jews that they had killed. Okay?
They did their assessment. They said 280,000 Jews or 271,000 Jews died in Auschwitz. And it was mostly from typhus and mostly from malnutrition. And you look at, like, the only gas they had in the walls, which that gas stays in the walls forever, was Zygon B. And Zygon B is to kill typhus. That's not like what you use to kill people. And so you start looking at this stuff and you're just like, yeah, obviously Jews died in World War II, but like you're talking about a war where like 80 million people died. And you're also talking about like, the communists.
Yeah, Count Bernadette of the Swedish Red Cross felt so much shame at not pushing back against the Nazi propaganda that he went to Palestine during the Nakba at the request of the Jews. However, he refused to spread pro-Israel propaganda and reported honestly on the what he saw. The Stern Gang assassinated him for it. I didn't know that happened. Is this Holocaust denial? Is this what I came into today? Yes, this is straightforward, very aggressive Holocaust denial. And the problem with this kind of shit is that a guy like Bradley Martin, or even many of you, are probably going to not be equipped enough to like debate these points. That's the problem with fucking Nazis. That's the problem with anti-Semites in general. You have to be a historian of the Holocaust because it's so easy to just lie. And it's so difficult to reconstruct the truth when someone is just straight up lying. This is part of the problem with platforming people who enter the conversation, enter the fray with a bunch of different cultural touch points. Like, oh, Dave Bilzerian, he's like this crazy guy, he's a poker guy, whatever. And then all of a sudden, boom, it's like straightforward, unfettered, unrestricted Holocaust denial.
Communists, which we sided with, prior to that was the Bolshevik communist, revolution, and they killed like 30 million Christians right, just during that alone.
That also is another sussy ass fucking take. They killed 30 million Christians. Whenever I hear about like the Armenian genocide being presented from the perspective of like, oh, it's the Ottoman Turks that killed the Armenians because they're Christian, okay? And then they turn around and say like, oh, they killed the Russians because they're Christian. Yeah, you're like a fucking Christian nationalist type of Nazi, okay? It's a very specific type of Nazi. Like, no, these atrocities were not conducted against Christianity, okay? Ridiculous.
And those are the people we side with, and that was 84% Jewish. So, the Bolshevik Revolution was 84%.
Can I be honest? I'm happy you're speaking on this, but lately it feels very much like you continue to defend your anti-Semitism instead of focusing on the Palestinian genocide, as well as promoting organizing for your followers. I think it's very clear you're not anti-Semitic, and I don't feel like you have to keep defending yourself. Are you fucking stupid? This is like a clip that's going viral about like pure Holocaust denial. It's something that I do care about. You know what I mean? That's insane.
Jewish, and they mass murdered Christians. And nobody talks about that. Why don't they talk about that genocide? They only talk about 6 million Jews, 6 million Jews, 6 million Jews, 6 million Jews. And that 6 million figure was used like 256 times in newspapers, New York Times, all these reputable newspapers before World War II even started. It was 6 million Jews, 6 million Jews.
Wait, what? That's what? That's not the fuck. If anything, if you want to talk about the fucking incompetence of mainstream press, especially in the West, they said the exact opposite. They were like, come on, Hitler's just joshing about the anti-Semitism stuff. They literally glazed Hitler, dude. What are you talking about? You fucking idiot. They straight up were like, Hitler's just memeing about the anti-Semitism. He's not serious about that shit. He's just trying to win over the German Volk. What the fuck? 2025 is the year of prove your lie, where when someone is accused of lying and tries to defend by demanding proof, the counter argument is that they have to prove their lie to support it. Yeah, most people, ironic that he's complaining about talking about Jewish casualties and completely discards the Roma Sinti people. Yeah, or any number of different victims of the Holocaust that spanned, like, it was what the total number is, like 12 million or 14 million. 6 million is the number of Jewish people that were killed. Were the Holocaust deniers when it was happening like what was happening today in Gaza? Or was it widely accepted that it was happening? Dude, there was no internet. What are you talking about? You think the average person in the Western world knew that there was like straight up concentration camps like slammed with like Jewish people? No, they just didn't. Most people didn't fucking know what the hell was going on. Most people didn't know what the hell was going on in general. Not just the Holocaust, but just in general. Like, the media was infinitely more centralized and more controlled than it is now. It was only after the liberation of the camps where the Western world knew and not even the full scope of the atrocities, but like started developing a better understanding of some of the atrocities. It took years and years of calculation, years and years of meticulously searching through the data to get a full assessment, a full autopsy of the atrocity that took place. The only difference is you could say that like the average German person knew and just like looked the other way, didn't care about it. I understand that argument. But as far as like random Americans in like Missouri, I don't think they fucking... There's tons of reports from the Red Army about how they were all baffled at the inhumanity, even after them just being invaded by the Germans. Yeah. Like, there are reports of generals and other people that like reported on the conditions of these camps and like what was going on. And people were like, that's insane. You're exaggerating. We have a war to win, that type of shit. Yeah. A lot of people that even heard about it were like, come on. And I think that is partially because, it's one, the atrocities were so insane. And two, you don't have like the level of information dissemination that you do now with like the internet. And make no mistake, there are people who know exactly what the fuck is going on in Gaza. You have direct access nowadays to a person that is existing under a genocidal occupation, a person that can escape this genocide. I've had a genocide survivor on the stream, Motaz Azaiza. Not only is a genocide survivor, but he filmed it. Like, he filmed it. He was responsible for showing it to the rest of the world. And yet people still don't give a shit. Or those who give a shit can only fight for so long. And it seems like, regardless of the fact that people do give a shit, regardless of the fact that people do care and people do protest against it, our governments don't care. The appetite that our governments historically have had for death and destruction is much higher than the average person.
And then you look at the Census Bureau, and there's more Jews 2 years after World War II than there was before.
Once again, this right here is also exactly what people who defend Israel say. Yeah. Oh, wow. I can't believe there was more Jewish people in America. Wow. That's crazy that the Nazis were not able to come to the United States of America and steal our Jews. How shocking. How shocking to me that Jewish people kept, having children throughout the process. That's crazy, man. For the record, this is exactly what people fucking say about both the Nakba and when they're engaging in like genocide denial of the Palestinians. They're like, there's more Palestinians now than there ever were before. I guess it's not a genocide. So that's why I always say it's like it's a handshake between anti-Semites on both sides. You got pro-Israel anti-Semites and you got anti-Israel anti-Semites. They're both fascist. They're just fascist for different groups. One is an anti-Jewish fascist. Jews are the outgroup in their ideology, Dan Bilzerian. And for others, they are anti-Arab, anti-Palestinian, anti-Muslim fascists, usually Islamophobic fascists. So Jews are the in-group in that situation, and the out-group are, Muslims and maybe anyone and everyone that is against the nation-state of Israel.
Right. So, like, the numbers don't make any sense. And also, look, I'm Armenian. They killed half my people, and Israel, denies that genocide. But yet, if you even question their genocide,
Wait. Interesting. Interesting enough. All manner of the genocide denial that he engaged in, the Turkish government engages in as well. What's really interesting about this also is that, I wonder why Israel would deny the Armenian genocide. Perhaps the reason why they would deny the Armenian genocide is because, one, Turkey is a trade partner, a very valuable, very important trade partner. He's lying. No, Israel for the longest time did not recognize the Armenian genocide, okay? This is 100%. This is 100% a fact. And I don't think that they're still partial about it. Okay? And neither did the United States of America until recently. The reason why they don't, the reason why they didn't, is because the Armenian genocide is quite similar in many ways to what Israel is conducting. Yeah, this is just a committee, not an official state pronouncement. Yeah, it makes sense. Azerbaijan and Turkey are big partners to Israel. I think there are 2 cities in Israel that recognize it. Why has Israel not yet recognized the Armenian genocide? Religious affairs. Have Israel's diplomatic, military, and economic concerns trumped its moral imperative? From the Jerusalem Post. So yeah. Interestingly enough, this man has no issue denying the Holocaust. Okay? Questioning the numbers, claiming that it was 60,000 people only. It's fucking ridiculous. While simultaneously, he's like, well, Israel denies the Armenian genocide. It's like, okay, investigate that a little bit further. You are descendant of genocide survivors of the Armenian genocide. Investigate that a little bit further, maybe. Examine that. Wonder why.
Quote unquote, in Germany, you'll go to jail. There was a woman that just died in jail recently because she was around during World War II.
Yeah. She was a Holocaust denier and she was alive during the Holocaust. Yeah, she was a fucking Nazi, dude. What do you mean? Yeah. Hello? Even the other Nazis knew not to openly be like, yeah, the Holocaust is fake. So they could go and become fucking NATO generals. You know what I mean? That's crazy. I can't believe it. This Nazi witnessed the Holocaust and denied it till the day she died. She could have just done what the rest of the leadership in Western Germany did, which was, okay, we won't openly deny the Holocaust and openly deny the genocide. And then we can still run the country and even, become active participants in America's imperialism by joining the ranks of NATO.
She saw what happened. She said, they didn't mass murder these Jews. I saw it. This didn't happen. They locked her in jail and they said, you can get out of jail if you just acknowledge that this happened. And she refused to do it. She literally died in jail. This is like a 90-year-old woman or whatever. And, you look at the people that acknowledged this and they were they got confessions from these people via torture. They were crushing their nuts. They were doing all these torture things. And those are the people that confessed to this crime. So, and this started becoming more apparent with what's going on in Israel. Like they said, people were, made into lampshades and soap, and they acknowledged that was all lies. And then you look at what Israel said for October 7th, beheaded babies in ovens. They come up with all this stuff that sounds really horrific, and it was all bullshit. Mass rapes.
Why is Bradley not pushing back at all? Because the average person has no understanding. Even an educated person is going to have a fucking hard time. That's why it's better to not talk to these motherfuckers at all. Do you not understand? Everybody thinks that they would, if they were to talk to an out and about, straightforward anti-Semite like this, they would pop off. Bradley is hard spec'd into weightlifting. He doesn't know shit about this. Exactly. He has no capacity to fucking deal with this shit, which is why I always say it's like flat earthers, man. Which is, you know, innocuous. It's not as like significant or severe as like straightforward denial of the Holocaust, which is like the maximalist anti-Semitic position. But like flat earthers have their own set of rules. They have their own set of standards. They have their own set of facts. You have to literally vigorously interrogate all of that, figure it out, learn it, know what the counters are to be able to have a normal conversation with a fucking flat earther. That's it. That's the problem. I'm using like a silly example so you understand, like even a silly thing, even a silly conspiracy, even if it's a silly ass fucking conspiracy, there is an entire world that they've crafted, an entire world of lies that they've crafted. Okay? So it's very difficult to parse through all of that and just and actively push back against this. Because as I've always said, it's relatively easy to just straight up lie, especially if you're confident. Okay? Very easy to lie. Very hard to dispel these lies. That's it.
All the stuff is all bullshit. And then so you start seeing it's like these people have such a pattern of lying. And then you look at the media. The media's lied to us, like during COVID. Like how many times we get lied to?
Yeah, and then he ties it to like something that Bradley also was like suspicious about. And boom, the circle is complete. Oh, well, you know, well, the media lies about COVID. And then you're like, oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I trust
you. COVID was the thing that originally made me be like, I don't know if I believe anything that the government's ever said about.
Yeah, there you go. And the circle is complete. It's packaged, clipped, and fucking shipped. Oh, bro got his haircut in a GTA barbershop. I feel like Nazis and flat earthers are the easiest people to debate. My brother turned into a tanky anti-vax incel that is stressful. Wait, what? A tanky? What are you saying? If people are confused, go explain to a person obsessed with the drones that they're showing you a video of an airplane. Yeah. Every one of these theories is a set of facts that sounds really convincing if you don't understand it. If there was a flat earther speaking unchecked to your chat, at least some will fall for it. 100%. This is why it's better to just not offer any fucking platform to people like this. Straight up. I know people will say like, oh, well, you know, you're censorious, but it's like the ultimate goal of an anti-Semite, the ultimate goal of a Nazi is not actually to have a reasonable conversation and have their opinions be challenged. Their ultimate goal is to just sneak as many fucking anti-Semitic takes in there as possible with the hopes that they can get some members of your community or some people who are listening to be on board, to be cynical, to get on board with the things that they're advocating for. What's the statement? It's like they enjoy the lie, okay? They enjoy it. They enjoy the act of lying because maybe some of them know that they're lying and it doesn't fucking matter, okay? Motherfucker Fauci lied continuously on national TV and all the legacy news outlets did the exact same thing. It's possible to not trust the government while not believing it's a depopulation plot. What are you talking about? Like, what did Antonio Fauci deliberately lie to the American public? Or did epidemiologists of all different backgrounds universally tasked with like combating a novel pandemic, a novel virus that was ripping through every fucking developed country and also undeveloped nations as well. They were tasked with defending the public and they were trying to do their very best. I personally think most people in positions of power like that have this delicate balance that they have to take. They can't just say, you know, this is not that big of a deal because then people won't take it seriously and then more people will die as they did in the United States of America. And the only times where like Antonio Fauci is saying, take me down, I can't take the heat. Okay. That's why you saw so many. What's crazy is so many of the things these conspiracies were so broad, so fucking widespread that you had people literally dying with a ventilator shoved down their fucking throats who in their dying breath still thought COVID was fake and it's just killing them. But people basically were just of one mind where they're like, no, this is an invisible thing. I don't believe it. I don't care. I will not take the necessary precautions. And no matter what happens, it happens. Okay? Anyway, here, this is when the camps were being liberated by the Soviet army. When I entered the barrack, I saw living skeletons lying on 3-tiered bunks. As in fog, I hear my soldiers saying, "You are free, comrades." I sense that they do not understand us and begin speaking to them in Russian, Polish, German, Ukrainian dialects. Unbuttoning my leather jacket, I show them my medals. Then I use Yiddish. Their reaction is unpredictable. They think I am provoking them. They begin to hide. And only when I say to them, "Do not be afraid. I am a colonel of the Soviet army and a Jew. We have come to liberate you." Finally, as if the barrier collapsed, they rushed towards us shouting, fell on their knees, kissed the flaps of our overcoats, and threw their arms around our legs. And we could not move, stood motionless, while unexpected tears ran down our cheeks. To the extent that we can access the Red Army's views, it is through memoirs and letters. Vasily Gromadsky, an officer of the 60th Army, offered this description. I realized that they were prisoners and not workers, so I called out, "You are free, come out." They began rushing towards us in a big crowd. They were weeping, embracing us, kissing us. I felt a grievance on behalf of mankind that these fascists had made such a mockery of us. It roused me and all the soldiers to go and quickly destroy them and send them to hell. Fake letters? Yeah, you're right, man. Yeah, you're right. Millions of people encountered this. Like millions. Tens of millions of people have direct lineage that they can trace back to the camps. Like hundreds of millions of people were touched by this in some meaningful fashion. But it's all fake. You know? It's all fake. It's all made up. It's the greatest makeup of all time. Like, it's just like the dumbest argument of all time, man. It's the dumbest fucking argument of all time. It's so stupid. Everything is a lie mentality is so stupid. Yes, the government has lied in the past. They've also told the truth because the government is like a million different people and always conflicting and shifting interests. Yeah. And one of the things that I always said during the pandemic, especially with the vaccine rollout, was always that like the American government is not interested in all of the Americans dying, okay? They're interested in making sure that Americans, the ones that do work, can continue going back to work. They don't want to cripple they don't want to cripple their economy. This is precisely the reason why, much like cattle, they were very open to immediately supercharging vaccine rollout and getting everyone inoculated as fast as possible. Okay? Because they wanted you to get back to work. Also, all the wealthy people in positions of power literally skipped the line to get the vaccine before you. Why would they do that? Just because the government lies actively with regular frequency and the media always is there to offer validity to said lies doesn't mean that they're lying in every single individual instance. Okay? It's very frustrating. You didn't address this schizo chatter point of depopulation? What do you mean? What was the point of depopulation? What? Boo-hoo law? What do you mean? What insane thing did I not mention? Holocaust revisionism is why I didn't learn my extended family that didn't migrate was in the camps because Sephardis weren't in the Holocaust, just Euro Jews. Meanwhile, somewhere my father has stacks of books on the Holocaust. Revisionism is so fucking deep. Oh, chatter said the government wants to do depopulation, of white people. Yeah, that's really stupid. Why the fuck would the government want to depopulate its own labor force, man? What are you talking about? And why would they especially want to depopulate the most servile, the ones that like actually do, the ones that actually aren't cynical of these fake government narratives about how the vaccines are good for you? You know what I mean? It's so stupid. I mean, does the government lie about everything? They just tell the truth about communism? Yeah. Those people love when the government tells the truth about socialism, That's why all the free thinkers happen to agree with basically like the overwhelming majority of prevailing narratives that come from the media about the dangers of socialism. It's great. Yeah. There's selective skepticism. Yeah, there's selective skeptics for sure. That's precisely the reason why they go, Bill Gates wants to microchip people to make them autistic and gay. But then they turn around and actually say they love Elon Musk, in spite of the fact that Elon Musk is literally the number one billionaire on the planet, the wealthiest one, the most powerful, and is actively working to put a chip in your fucking brain. It's crazy.